has 2 cell phones, like he's a freaking athlete or something. I get it, we're on stage. He's like, come on, bud. Hey, man. Don't call him out like that in front of his wife, dude. Come on. Jeez.
I know about those.
Jeez. All right.
Come back.
We're waiting for Megan to come back, and then we'll get this started. Guys, again, thank you. Good to see you guys here, all of you. So many faces that I recognize. So many faces I don't recognize.
So many names I recognize in chat right now.
So many faces.
I'm going to reference you guys as chat. Is that cool? This way I don't have a panic attack?
No? Frisky, can you hear me? Frisky. All right, good.
I can hear you.
Do not challenge me. I'm the man with the electricity. All right, here we go. Are you ready? We lost Megs. Guys, thank you. Megs is very Hollywood, so we apologize. Yes. We only got this because Megs is part of our stream team. Let's be honest. Yeah. It was going to be called Megan and a bunch of dudes, but we said no, please, network.
Megs and some dudes. Looking below anybody going to want to hold our camera.
There will be, guys, a microphone in the middle if you guys want to ask any questions. Go ahead. Do not ask us what bot we use. We all use Nightbot. All of us use Nightbot. Don't play like that. We use OBS and XSplit.
He's never been to my channel.
I have no idea what this guy is. Okay, there we go.
Sorry, blame me.
All right, guys, welcome. Thank you for being here. We are the network, your stream team. Some of you may know me. I'm Guardian Outpost. I'm moderating the stage. Joining me are my friends and network stream team members. Next to me here is Megan YY. Megan, say hello.
Hello.
Next to her, Jay Sniper, the Turtle Squad. Hello. Of course, we got Vibronium, brothers. And the man all the way at the end is the Evil Aura. Hi, everybody. Guys, again, thank you for being here. So, we really wanted to get this panel out there. You know, we pitched it to Kevin, and Kevin thought it was a great idea. Kevin is not here. We also have 2 other members that are not here. They're busy. K-Magic 101, he's doing the jam, and Angry Iceberg is doing the PvP tournament. So they couldn't be here, so we're here representing the network. So we put this panel together. We thought it was important, and Kevin thought it would be a good panel to do it. You know, we joined together. We weren't partnered. All of us are partnered, and now Vibronium is affiliated. So we really wanted to, same thing. That really was not supposed to be a slight on Vibronium. That was not meant as a slight on my man Vibronium. But sub button, hey bro. He does have a sub button. Sub to him right now, or we won't let you out of this theater. So we wanted to put this together. We want to do this panel to kind of like, you know, tell you about our journey of forming the team, of everything we've been through, how we've helped each other, you know, how networking, how we network, you know, the benefits of doing this, how we've all grown together, how we all communicate, how we're all very honest with each other. So this is going to be a conversation. I'm not going to interview these guys. You know, we're all friends here, so we're going to have a conversation. So first, though, I haven't asked him a question. We're going to go down the line. We'll start with Aura. We'll go this way.
That gives me a chance to ask.
We'll start with Aura. Aura, when you first started streaming, man, what were some of the challenges you were facing? You know, getting your name out there.
It wasn't so much getting my name out there. It was more finding an identity, finding myself within my own channel and being who I was. You know, when you're first getting started, you make an awful lot of mistakes. I've made quite a few. I will continue to make them. But it was fun for me. I was there to entertain and take people away from the challenges of their day. So it was just about finding my way to do that. So getting our name out there, I was just an active chatter. That's all I was. I was very, very active in everybody's chat. They knew my name. When they saw my name in the direction, they were more inclined to come and say hi to me, like, yo, you're that guy from Guardian Outpost channel, right? You're that guy who hangs out and talks to Guardian Outpost all day. So that was, you know, that was what I would say got me where I was.
Which we talk about that a lot. You know, a lot of people ask me, yo, how do I get my name out there? How do I get noticed by the streamer? Being active in their chat is a good way of doing that. You know, not always being, hey, stream a shout out, hey, stream a shout out. You know, or I mean, he was very active and a positive contributor. So,
I trolled you in the beginning, but
yeah, he trolled me in the beginning, but I'm untrollable, so it's all right. But same question to you that I asked Nora, man. Some of the tough things you faced in the beginning.
So in the beginning it was tough because I was actually pretty new to Twitch overall. Like I had hung out like in a few channels. The bad, we're good, we're good. Yeah. I hung out like a few channels, but like most like the bigger guys, and obviously like nobody knew me. But I started streaming and basically no one knew me. So the first like few months was just me and Nightbot, my best friend Nightbot, just hanging out. And kind of to piggyback off this thing with the identity, it was like I was that guy in the beginning. You could make fun of me all day, and I'm like, but you're still hanging with me, so like, I'll take it. It's cool. Like, you want to follow me too? Yeah. And so I kind of realized, like, eventually, it was like, that's not the way to go at all. Like, you know, basically just be you and build a channel you want, like the way you want to build it. So it took me a while to kind of figure that out, but eventually I had to start hanging on more channels, more. You know, hanging on these channels a lot before, you know, I was in the network, and kind of, you know, like my buddy Kratos here in the front. He was like the first person I met on Twitch. And, you know, just kind of network, kind of like from the smaller channels up, and now I'm here with an affiliate sub button. It's crazy.
Look at this guy.
So for me, very similar to Vibe, where I didn't know anybody. Like, I mean, I would hang out in like Roman and God's channel.
Would you do closer to the mic, please? I'd hang out in Roman and God's channel.
And you know, I would lurk. I didn't chat much because, like, you say something in that channel, it's like, hey, how's it going? Mind shit. And they're busy guys.
Yeah, Angry Iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna tell the story now how we all got together. Angry's a part of it. Go ahead, Jim.
And so,
Rude, Angry.
for me, it was consistency in a lot of different ways. Consistent in who I was, consistent in schedule, consistent in what I believed in. But yeah, much like him, it was me and myself, and I had a couple of like clan mates that would pop in once in a while. But the more consistent that I was, then just like it was like, okay, 1 viewer, 2, 3 per a month, you know, slowly grew on from there. But the hardest part for me was just consistency as a whole. And as you grow, you definitely start to find these challenges that it's all a learning experience for me. And even the most difficult moments are a learning experience, and that's probably where I've learned the most.
Megan YY.
Megan YY, my official title. So I'm pretty similar to these guys. Again, I feel like most people's story are all pretty similar. They were like, hey, this is pretty cool, let's give this a go. And then they hung out in chat, and people were like, they scroll down the directory and they're like, hey, I've seen that name in this person's chat before. Maybe, oh, they stream, let's go hang out. So mine's pretty similar. My dad actually got me into streaming, and he was like, Megs, do this. This will be fun. And I was like, all right, fine. And again, it was, Nightbot is everyone's best friend at the beginning. We might hate it now because it can just be like, wow, look at me, I can do this. But yeah, and then you just learn to grow. People start to know your name, and you just, I don't know, it snowballs, and it was the same with me. It just absolutely snowballed, and it's ridiculous. Guys, I'm in America. What? Yeah! I'm in America. I'd never been to America before because of streaming, and I'm here, and it's, yeah, I don't know. It's all very similar to.
You know, it's funny hearing your stories. My stories really live from all you guys. I started on Twitter with the hashtag. Some of you may know the hashtag that I created. Some of you may not. So I was all over Twitter. So the first time I actually streamed at 20 viewers. First time I streamed at 20 viewers. And I thought that was normal. I'm like, doesn't everybody have 20 viewers the first time they stream? And everybody's like, no, they don't. And so of course I was all about support, so I wanted to share that. So I started meeting more people. And I met Megany first before any of these guys, and I met Aura. I made Aura. Yeah, I made Evil Aura. So I met Megany through my podcast. I met Aura through my chat. I met Kevin one day when he was thirsty for viewers. You know, it's like, yo, Guardian, let me get viewers. No, we played football together, Kevin and I. We played Madden, and So I met Angry. I met Angry. Not real football, because this guy. I run 10 feet. I'm like, anyway. Angry Iceberg. I met him, through a Broman raid. So, I started noticing a lot of people that were similar to me. Aura and Iceberg, they started talking first. Then I started talking with those guys, and I always preach to people, hey, let's network with other people your size. Don't go to golf. If you have 10 viewers, don't go to golf and be like, hey, help me. He's gonna look at you like some guy trying to run my coattails. Network with those that around your same growth, around your same. So almost all of us started around the same time. I was at 2015, close around late 14. We all started around the same time. So Angry, Aura, and myself started talking, and then we started noticing a thing that I would stream in the morning, Angry would stream at night, Aura would stream in the afternoon, and we're like, let's form this team where we're like, we saw how stream teams work. Like, we wanted to do a different stream team, a stream team where we didn't just share the viewers. We were just like, I'm taking my viewers to Megan's taking her viewers to someone else. We still spread our viewers around to people, but we wanted to start this, I don't know if it's new. To us, it seemed new. Maybe it wasn't. But we started this thing. Angry, Aura, and I, we talked about it, then we put a name to it. These guys called it the network. Aura and Angry. Well, Angry called it the network. And then we invited Vibroni. No, not Vibroni. I'm Jay Sniperton. And then we invited Kevin. And then we got this Discord. We talked, and we communicate a lot, guys. How important is the communication? Please don't let me just talk the whole time. We'll talk the whole time if you let me. But
so obviously, I'm the other side of the world. I can go to bed and come back. There's like 500 messages to read. I'm like, okay, what did I miss?
We communicate so much. I want to say it's one of my favorite things. And again, guys, get in. So we started the stream team, and we all got together, and we all said, let's help each other. We're all about the same viewership.
There wasn't even a partnered streamer among us. No. So they contacted Twitch. They're like, hey, we have this group. We kind of want to do a stream team, but we don't want it to be like unofficial.
Well, Kevin got partnered first, and then Kevin made the stream team. Kevin made the stream team, and then he let me manage it. But we have no leaders. There's no leaders in the stream.
Yeah, we're all equal. That is the one thing that's really
before all of that even happened. It was Angry and I had a conversation. Angry and Geo had a conversation. We noticed that we had a lot of the same names in chat, and we were like, as the way growth works, we could probably capitalize if we talk about this a little bit more and maybe capture some other viewers from each other's channels. Because all it takes is 10. 10 more viewers in your channel is a massive step. So then we put this thing together. We start talking about, we make a command in all of our channels, exclamation point the network, yo guys, all these amazing broadcasters, and we didn't stream at the same time. This is key. We overlap by just a couple of hours, if that. And that allows you to pass your viewership on. Not every day, we're not going to host each other every single day, but once a week, having the ability to pass those viewers over, and just bring, like I said, just 10 more. If 10 more people come per day, the growth is just going to start to snowball, and it did. It started with a non-partnered command and chat in all of our channels. And then once Kevin got partnered, he made the stream team, but he didn't want the responsibility of it.
Yeah,
so he gave it to Geo to run the channel.
I do.
So
yeah, and we all have the same, there's differences in all our streams, but it's almost the same,
Same values.
Same values, same core, our streams all. So that's what I like. So, so that's how it started, man. We all got, Kevin got partnered, Angry got partnered, and we're just constantly.
You and Jay got partnered, or your buttons went live the same day.
Jay and I.
Jay put in his paperwork way before you.
And then his took what, 36 hours?
My button took 30 hours. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, 30 hours. So many people got mad at me, like, Guardian, you didn't tell me. 30 hours, I had no time. I literally signed so much paperwork, but I lost it. Keep going.
I was gonna pick up on what Aura was saying about like the once a week thing. This is not planned. It's not like, hey, yo, on Monday can you raid me, and then it's just like, it's we're all family, and it's once in a while, hey, let's it seems like Guardian Outpost is doing something fun this morning. Hey, Wednesday 80s day, let's go. So it's not like we have this pre-plan of like trying to get each other partnered or trying to get each other viewers, because we know that viewers are not just a number. And
But if we're doing something special, like, hey Jay, I'm doing a charity stream, hook me up with those 1,000 viewers you have. So it'd be nice. But it's good, it's good as as streamers. A lot of you guys stream a lot and want it to be your job. Maybe it is your job. It's hard to talk to people outside of what streaming is. We have a lot of bad days. Streamers have a lot of bad days. A lot of. We have days where we're like, man, you just want to crawl in your bed, not get out of it.
very self-conscious, as probably all of you are. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's good to talk to others. It's good to talk to others that understand you. You know what I mean? Understand what you're going through. And these guys and Megany, because I don't want to call her a guy, understands. Just in case. We all understand what we go through, you know what I mean? Like, or if I have a bad, if I have a bad stream, I'll tell them like, man, that was rough, and these guys will either pick me up or make fun of me, which is cool. Either way it helps. So it's good to have that.
Well, I think what's interesting too is that like we have such different channels. Like, you stream like Borderlands, and like you did like a lot of Division. If I'm not
Borderlands, what you talking about?
Yeah, right. Like Meg's did like Overwatch and Destiny. He does purely Destiny, and he does too. But we all like play different games and have different communities, but that doesn't mean that we're like different people. You know what I mean? Like we actually have like very similar values and like our community. That's why we think that we can share communities really well with each other, because like you enjoy your time here, he or she may be doing something different over there, but I can guarantee you'll enjoy your time there. So like it's a genuine interest in sharing community. It's supposed to be like, hey, they're doing the same thing as me, just go check them out.
It's important when you're forming a team like this that you pick people that have the same rules that you do, the same vibe that you do, the same personality type, the same values. Because picking the wrong person, you're basically saying putting your stamp of approval on something, and your stamp of approval is very important to your community. They look up to you as that leader. So if you put the stamp of approval on somebody who is a giant D, it might tarnish some of your reputation as well. And that's part of the thing with the network, is that we all have very, very similar rule sets, values, mindsets on how we look at streaming as a whole. And I owe a lot to these guys because I am a handful. I'm very dramatic. I don't know if you guys know this about me or not.
Drama Queen Aura.
But when I'm
there it goes again.
They especially Jay Sniberton, like the ability to just kind of like bring me back down. This is what my wife does in real life, but these guys do it in streamer world. They just kind of like bring me back down to ground zero sometimes, and it's really important to have a group like that. Being as intimate as we are, where we're not spread out across like a bigger stream team, it makes it more personal and allows us to be legitimately friends. We're not just networking streamers. Like, we've got each other's backs through thick and thin. We argue like we're family sometimes. Like, it's really important to have a core.
It's been pretty awkward.
Core group. Oh, what happened?
Jay and I looked at each other.
Oh, okay.
little soap opera moments happen.
They happen.
Oh yeah.
But I was going to pick up on what you were saying about the friendship part. I mean, the thing that's most different for me, I've been in a few stream teams, as these guys have probably also, and we've seen them. It's different because we actually communicate with each other
Every day.
and it's a support system, right? So if you worked a normal job, which maybe you have or haven't, you have coworkers, right? So if you're dealing with a customer or something, maybe they do something weird, you can go over to your friend and be like, hey, this happened, and you can decompress and like let it out. In a lot of stream teams, you don't have that, but for us, on good days, like you were saying, and bad, it's a way to decompress and like let it out and have somebody to talk to. My wife, I go to her and will say something. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
like she's like, what game do you play again?
Yeah, exactly.
What game have you been playing for like 3 years? But that, for me, that is probably the #1 value point for us as a group.
Well, one of the favorite things that Jay has ever said, and I keep saying it over and over again, is that I have brothers now. These guys are like my brothers. Like, I've gone to them with guy issues, I'm going in like, oh my gosh, this guy, and they're just like, Megs, please.
But it's terrible because most of us are married with kids, so we don't remember what it's like to be single. So we're like, I don't know, take him to a drive-in. Do they have those still?
It was very awkward being single. Very awkward.
Yeah.
But it is very important. The amount we communicate, and we don't just talk about streaming all the time. Sometimes if there's things going on in our lives, we share it with each other, and it's also it's good to be able to do that with somebody that's in, I guess, a similar situation with your job, and You know, like we said right at the beginning, we're all on the same brainwave, basically.
Yeah, we talk about the biz, but we talk about our lives.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's not just all business talk.
And that is so key to just us as a group of people.
Megan has drunk typed to us many times. We love it.
Maybe. I've gone out and tried to smash my keyboard and hope for the best. But
If you guys have any questions, there's a microphone right there. Go
Yeah,
right up to
feel
the
free.
microphone, ask a question. We also have a hashtag on Twitter, Ask the Network, and we'll answer any questions that you guys may have. We got a question coming in here on Twitter from Infected Bamboo. He says, so coming into people's chat every day is a great way to network with people, right? I would say so.
It's
If
how
you're
I built my
connected.
identity. I mean, I think people knew me more as a chatter than they do as... I'm only live for 2 hours a day, but I'm in chat for 8 to 10 to 12. So for me personally, and I'm active in all of our channels, mind you. Like, I wake up with Jay. I used to before he changed his schedule on me. I used to wake up with Jay, and then from Jay I'd go over to Guardian Outpost, and from Guardian Outpost I'd go over to Megan, and it was my turn. Then I go over to Angry Iceberg and Kevin overnight. And, you know, for my identity being active in chat, I think you could even agree. You're I'm asleep. But like,
Man, this has not been a slight on Vibranium, guys, I swear. This is not the roast of Vibranium.
It's not looking good for us.
This is not.
isn't what we signed up on now.
Yeah.
I think the one thing though, like, just to talk about that, like, you know, being in other people's channels, one thing I think you should really stress is showing genuine interest to actually be involved with both the streamer and their community.
Yep.
It is so obvious when someone comes in and it's like the first line, "Hey, what's up? I just got off stream."
Oh my god.
No idea what you're talking about.
But it's like, if you just really show like genuine interest, like, oh, I really, like, don't force it. It's like, if you find a community that you actually like being a part of, they have like similar, you know, sense of humor, or, you know, whatever, that you like playing that game too, then, you know, that's great. But if you find something like, oh, they have a lot of viewers, but I don't really like what he's talking about, then, you know, like, don't be afraid to just be like, oh, I'll just move on and find, you know, like, somebody who fits my style better. Just show genuine interest.
and the
That's like
community is a big one. Like the chat itself, awesome. Yeah.
We have a question.
Yes. So, what are your favorite raids to play and why?
My favorite raids.
I feel like we should probably start with
I feel like that's a Jason Iverson question.
Yeah.
Sorry, well, raid.
No, it's, I mean,
the raid
I mean,
I wasn't like dusting off my shoulder.
any raid I could,
Okay.
any raid I could finish, because I'm notorious for not being able to finish raids.
Legitimately.
There's
That's how our
a lot
first
of you in here that's helped me get the
my
raid.
first ever stream was to try and get you through King's Fall, and you kept dying on lightning.
You were white.
I
You
was
were very
white girl
weak. You were white girl.
but I wasn't dying
Yeah.
from the lightning. I still knew where to run.
It was the lag, man. It was the lag.
For me, it's almost personal in that, like, when I started streaming, it was right when Taken King came out, and so our community was built from Taken King and King's Fall. It was like a full year of nothing but King's Fall every day, and even with that, even though some people don't like it because it's whatever, but it's probably my favorite more from the building the community part than the actual raid. If I had to speak raid, it's probably, I mean, Bog and King's Fall and Wrath are pretty close, and then Crota's fun.
What's a raid? I just boop. Can I boop in raids?
Not with me, no.
I'm like the pretty usual answer. I think Bog is my favorite raid. I mean,
I agree.
You know, I was the most into Destiny year one. Obviously, I was like super passionate about it, and I expected it to be kind of like an MMO type game. So when I finally stepped into a raid, I was like, yeah, oh yeah, because I came from World of Warcraft a lot when I was younger. So I was like, I need a raid. It wasn't like, you know, 40 people in there, but you still had 6 people. You had to coordinate and everything, and I guess it was more like, thinking back on it now, it's more like nostalgic than anything else. But it's, I mean, I think it's a pretty easy answer. But like, I mean, I think a lot of people agree that Bog is probably their favorite. But for me, by far, definitely my favorite.
Did you go? I'm sorry. I'm like, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
That's so rude.
Very
Mine's got to be King's Fall as well. I don't know what it is, but we could spend hours and hours doing that thing right when it was released. And then even now, I can see people doing King's Fall, and they'll be on the ships with the jumping puzzle, and my brain will go, oh my gosh, I want to play King's Fall so bad right now. And I don't know, it just could always grab me back. And as long as I stay away from Wrath of the Machine, I'm alright. Because that raid gives me a headache.
We need to do Wrath together.
No!
King's Fall for me.
Yell at you.
I'm used to it.
King's Fall for me was more about the people I played with in the raid itself. That's where I discovered Twitch was with that raid, and I've had the honor of raiding with a lot of really, really fun, funny people. And some of the best memories that I ever had as a gamer on Twitch was with that raid. You know, Frisk 86 and running with Jay, and some of the charity weekends we had. I fell off playthrough, and I'm sorry, I did. You know, but some of those gaming memories, I'm gonna cherish those forever. So it's not so much the raid, but the people that I was with.
I'll piggyback on that answer, or I've never been an MMO guy or anything. I've never run any type of raid ever, any game. So first time I ran VOG, I was like, whoa, what is this? Like 6 people and we're doing things that we, like, I was a guy that played a lot of Call of Duty, so I just kill things indiscriminately. So I had no idea that I had to like stand here, kill that, do this, do that. So the experience, really every raid has been fun, except for King's Fall. That's my kryptonite. I mean, I've never finished King's Fall. I mean, now I have plenty of time. But when King's Fall was like the raid, the top raid, I never finished it. It was hard to finish it. I would just, you know, end the stream. Hey guys, bye. Damn it! And turn off the microphone, the camera, slam my controller. So raids are just fun because you just get to hang out with friends, and it's really cool. So that's really my favorite part of raids. Finish or not, as long as you get some laughs, that's the best. So thank you, man. Thank you for your question.
Thank you,
I
guys.
appreciate it, dude. We got a question here from Dubstash558, who's right there, man. My man.
He's here?
He's here. He's right there, man.
Lazy.
I got
Give me
my-
I've met so many people that.
What a lazy.
Every streamer is a fan of someone. Who do we watch purely for enjoyment? He says he likes watching Tim, the Tatman, is his favorite guy.
I like watching that dude right there.
He's just
He's the entire reason that I have a Twitch account. I wouldn't have a Twitch account if it wasn't for Guardian Outpost. I watch a lot of streamers as a non-registered, non-chatting viewer. I was a single view bot essentially. And it wasn't until I found David that I actually made an account and wanted to talk to somebody. So for me, it's Guardian Outpost, and then it's Guardian Outpost and Jason Iverson Network. I like watching the network. I follow like 420 people,
Watch the network.
and I love all of them. Honestly, I can't.
Yeah, Homer. Mine's gonna be Tim as well. Tim the Tapman. That dude is just no matter what point of the day, because he's on when I'm at work, like very early in the morning, and he's on at like 8 a.m. my time. So I come into work with no coffee, grumpy, mad at the life, because I just want to play video games and not work and be an adult. And then I just put Tim on, because I can't really watch him, so I just have my earbuds on, like listening to Tim, and just cracking up at my desk, and everyone's looking at me like, what in the hell is wrong with this guy? I'm like, oh, it's just my favorite song. It's a really funny song. Jack Black, you know. Yeah, Tim the Tapman for sure, Tim. Tim.
For me, I'm very picky when it comes to games, and I can't watch games that I wouldn't play, even if it's people in our stream team. I mean, to be perfectly honest,
And he's been very honest about that. We respect that.
very difficult. Like, I'll pop in, it's like Overwatch, I'm like, that's just not my thing, but I still try to support, right? But as far as like watching streamers, I mean, the obvious answer is Gotham Broman for me, because that's what got me watching Twitch in the first place. And to be perfectly honest, one of the other ones is Evil Aura, because he keeps the conversation going the whole time. So it's less about the game and more about talking and connecting and joking, and that's the same with streaming and rating for me. So.
Wow, thank you.
Mine's a really like cheesy answer, and it's my best friend. It's Leah Lovestream. She is somebody that she's like my best friend, and her chat is funny. She really likes memes and clucks a lot. So what's not entertaining about sitting there for 4 hours listening to someone cluck? I guess, but yeah. And then I try and float around. It sounds so silly. I don't know what these guys are like, but when I'm not, since I've really started streaming as my job, I've not actually been able to watch that many streams for too long anymore. Like, it's almost like I've just lost my attention span. But when I do try and float around. Like when I'm getting ready in the morning, I'll normally put Jay on and I'll pop in, and he'll just say turtle squad about 1 million times and it'll be cool. And then, like, you know, because me and David, we normally stream around the same time. So all my days off, I'll try and pop in. And then I'm like dead to the world when you're alive, so.
Do you follow me?
I don't think so. Sorry, who are you? Okay. And then, you know, Aura's always on, well, you know, when I finish, so I'll pop in, and it's normally where my raids end up going, and I love it. It's the same as Jay, it's just got a constant flow of conversation. It's just, if I'm not in Leah's chat, I'm floating around in these, or I'm eating, or cuddling my dog. So,
I don't really care what game someone's playing. I'm all about the streamer, man. I'm looking at the streamer. I was like Jay, where it was all Destiny, because that's what got me into Twitch. But then I started meeting the people behind the camera more intimately, and knowing more about, you know, the streaming thing. So if I see someone with energy and passion, I'm loving it. You know, I'm sitting there and like, yeah, this guy, this girl, she's loving which. I mean, this guy's as entertaining as hell. This Sergeant Fidget, he's entertaining as hell. Yeah. If I see someone with passion and if I see someone sitting there playing a game just to the viewership and they're sitting there like bored, I could tell. But if I see someone having fun, it doesn't matter what the number is or whatever. If their chat's going, that's great. I just like to see passion and energy is what gets me. And I watch a lot of streams. I'm constantly directory diving in all directories, really. You know, I have been, you know, playing other games recently because Destiny 1 is kind of Destiny's in a transition right now. We're going into Destiny 2 now. So these guys are, I don't know what they're doing over here. Yeah, anyone with passion and anyone with a lot of passion and energy, they get me. And passion doesn't have to mean some guy screaming. You know, passion can be good. You can be chill and still be passionate. But those are two things I look for. I don't care what game. I really don't care. I follow a lot of people that play lots of different games. If there's one guy that I will go to and watch is BroBQ. I love that guy too. I watch BroBQ. He's a funny guy.
He was my very first sub on Twitch.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, and him and I connected because we both worked at LA Fitness, and we're always so I always have fun in his chat as well. And he's a super nice guy who helped me a lot. That's why he's asking questions, and he's helped me a lot.
He used to play Destiny. That's
he used to play. He always tells me, man, I don't know how he can still play Destiny. So, but he's a good dude. We got a question from the audience, man.
Okay, Jay. So as you know, I'm frequent in your chat. For people that stick to one game and one game only, how hard is it to make sure that it stays interesting no matter how long we go on?
That's a question we could probably go for Jay and Aura. Jay.
So it's the people, it's the community, it's not the game. For me, I don't stream for the game. We do raid help, yes, but that's it. Not necessarily an ends to the means kind of thing where I'm just doing raid help. Sometimes we play and there's not somebody that's never done it. So it's creating the family and the community and laughing and learning, and every raid for me is different. Some of them are an hour, some of them are 4 hours, some of them are 6. Like, for me it's different because of who I play with, not what I play. Sure.
Get a dog. Stream with your dog? What do you know doesn't matter?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So,
I wish my dog was as chill as your dog's. My dog's a live wire, man.
When I stream Destiny, I stream PvP, and that's how we grew, that's how we got the partner. PvP is unpredictable. I'm not playing mostly I'm not playing the same people every time I'm playing. I'm using different weapons, I'm doing different silly things. It's constant action, and there's always something to comment on because it's only a matter of time before somebody's gamer tag or their clan is something lewd that we can all laugh at together, or until I pop my super and fall off the map. So I agree with Jay where it's not so much about the game, but for me personally to be entertaining, I need that constant action and that constant unpredictability. That's what Destiny brings to me when I'm broadcasting. I don't think I could do what I do as well if I was doing PvE. I really don't.
And I'm the same with PvP. I'm too competitive. It'd be like game. Game.
Yeah. So it allows me to be the most interactive and have the most fun, essentially.
I think what's important too is to not be afraid to actually play something that you want to play, because I think you'll be much more willing to you won't just be bored out of your mind and sitting there waiting for something to happen. If you're like, oh man, like I could do raids and that could be like really good. It could be bringing a lot of people. But if you don't like raiding, then you know it's
or if you're not good at raiding.
Yeah, or that too. Yeah, or like same with PvP, right? Like you know, I know he plays PvP a lot because it's like
I'm not good though.
Well, yeah, but you enjoy it, and it allows you to be able to.
Not good. 100,000 kills in PvP. Not good.
Yeah, right. Please.
Fine, I'm gotta find Cosmo.
200,000 deaths.
We don't talk about that part.
Yeah, right. It's just a number. It's just a number. But yeah, just don't be, because that's how I was in the very beginning. I was like, I need to play what I think people are going to actually want to watch. And it was like, you know what? I don't know if that's how I want to build my channel. I'm just like, if people want to hang out with me, for me in our community, then great. I'm going to have a much easier time actually, you know, like talk with them, enjoy myself, and not be miserable 5 seconds before I press start stream. Like, oh, I got a raid. Hey guys, let's queue up for a raid. You know what I mean? Like, just do what you want to do and enjoy it.
Any answer?
Yes.
Alright, there's the answer. Yes.
Great answer.
I started out playing a lot of Destiny, and then branching out was probably one of the best things I ever did. I love coming back to Destiny. It's always my home, and I know I'll, well, maybe always have a good time. But I was actually kind of afraid to move directories for a while. But then I was like, yo, this game Overwatch, this is fun. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, you can stream music on Twitch? I'm there, you know? I don't know, everyone has their own way of how they want to build their channel. And if you absolutely nail it in one game, and you love playing that game, then you do that. You play the same. At the end of the day, whether you move directories or stay in the one directory, play one game, as long as you are loving playing that game, you know, that's all that really matters.
Ultimately, if you're doing it for the numbers, you're probably streaming for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, you know, and all of us, can sympathize with those that really want to get their partnership, and they only get the numbers in that game. We can sympathize with you guys. I know, because when I was trying to get my partnership, and I've always loved Destiny. I've never stopped loving this game. I'm not a guy that does raid carries or trials carries, so for me, branching out is smart, you know, to try out other games while Destiny 2, until Destiny 2 comes out. But we can understand, because I know there'd be days where people are like, why don't you try this game? No, I can't. Like, I'm trying to go for that partnership. So we can sympathize, but if it's driving you nuts, you know, save yourself the headache and play another game, you know, relax for a day, a couple days.
So,
and it's all good.
Branching out's important, but going to a directory that has visibility is equally as important. So when Geo made the transition to playing a lot of Borderlands, that is a community that's very, very, very thirsty for talented streamers. It has its own built-in community. There is viewership there. So making that transition to that directory, coming from where he was coming from, was strategically a really good idea. You know, he's a very, very entertaining, personable person, and he draws you in no matter what he's broadcasting. So switching to Borderlands, which is looking for good streamers, really made sense for him. So, you know, switching and streaming NHL 94 might not be the best idea. You know, there's probably not a whole lot of people looking for that game. So the game that you go and switch directories to is as important as the one that you might stay in. Right. You know?
Yeah, and the Borderlands people love to backseat game, and I bring it on. I'm still
not as bad as Dark Souls.
I'm still a noob at Borderlands. I'm loving every day. Yo, thank you for your question, man. I really appreciate it. We got a question here from King of Queens on Twitter. I guess you want to ask the question on Twitter. Put hashtag Ask the Network, and we'll answer your question. King of Queens says, when do you guys believe it is the right time to buy equipment for streaming? This is a good question, because a lot of people think streaming is lights, camera, action, you know, capture card, computer, all this. That's what they think. People, that's bells and whistles, man. That's bells and whistles. You know, I went straight from the console. First 3 months, and when I saw that growth, when I saw that it was going somewhere, I saw that, you know, people were noticing me, people were realizing who I was. That's when I said, okay, maybe it's time to step it up, get a green screen, get a camera. I would say that's when you would do it. I wouldn't say, because you can buy all that stuff, costs a lot of money, and then you can find out you don't like this, you don't like doing this, and then you're stuck with all this equipment you don't want.
Yeah, I think that's important too. Like I always tell people, start with straight from from the console. Stream straight from the console. Cause I did that for about 3 months as well, and I found out like, man, I actually really like. I had like 2 viewers, but I was like, I love this. Like I look forward to coming home and doing it. And at that point, you know, I looked at my finances first. Don't do it for like, oh, I have no money and I can't pay bills, but I really want that capture card. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm smart about it, but to me, I decided it was worth it. I really want to start doing it more, and so I you know, spend money for the equipment. And don't feel like you have to, because there are people who have got. I mean, obviously, partnership isn't like the ultimate. I mean, some people it is, but you know, some people just like to stream just to stream. People have been partnered from playing on console or from streaming from console. Yep. I mean, it may not be super, you know, common, but it happens. So, you know, it's more about the, you know, the caster themselves than it is about having like that, you know, brand new stream deck or, you know, the, you know, crazy, you know, like you said, bells and whistles and stuff.
It's bells and whistles.
Yeah. So
that's green screen, a camera, lights doesn't make you a great streamer. Great music, great alerts, having hilarious alerts, that does not make you a great streamer. What makes you a great streamer is the content. You gotta have the content for it. People come for the content. They're not gonna follow you for a hilarious, or sub to you or whatever, or drop bits for a hilarious alert. I mean, maybe some do, but you know, some do. Like, oh, I just wanted to hear that alert again. But it's the content that's going to draw people in. And a lot of people told me, you know, when I was potato streaming, that's what drew them in. I didn't have any music, none of that stuff, man. Terrible internet. All that.
For me, there's 2 points. 1, work with what you got. 2, one thing at a time. So for me, I was lucky. I actually had a decent computer. I had a webcam. It wasn't great. I had a headset, and I spent like $17 on a green screen. That was my expense. From there, it was, I got a microphone like 3 months later. I didn't even have a capture card. I was actually using the Xbox Stream to PC app, and I was on Xbox for like 9 months. So I didn't have a capture card. I had a delay when I played, right? So then it was the microphone, because sound is super important. And then I got a better camera, and it was like one thing at a time. Every couple of months, it was like, okay, now I got one thing I can upgrade, you know, to make an improvement. It wasn't, I never even thought about doing it all at once. And it was the discovery phase, like you said. I loved it immediately. I love performing. I like being in front of people, being a goofball and all that stuff. And work with what you have, make sure you enjoy it, and then one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself with everything. I didn't have an overlay for 6 months. I had black bars at the top and the bottom with like, newest follower. That was it. Like, I didn't have anything. I didn't have branding. Nothing.
I streamed from my couch for like a year. You know?
I missed that couch.
And it wasn't until Angry Iceberg was like, you need to get your ass off of that couch and get up on a desk and like legitimately do this because you're good enough, and you know. So I didn't spend really a lot of money until I'd say a year and a half into it. Being a musician, I already had audio interfaces, microphones, headsets. I had all the stuff that sound good. That's all I really cared about at the beginning. Audio is one of the reasons I'll leave. I will flat out, I'll leave a channel if the audio is not on point. It's ingrained in my ears from being in the music industry. So I knew as long as I sounded good, I could work with something. I had a laptop and I bought a $100 capture card. My initial investment was $100 to broadcast. So it wasn't until it really started to steamroll that my wife and I had a conversation about what was going to be appropriate to invest in this. Because at that time it was a hobby. It wasn't income, really. I spent more money on Twitch than I made my first year. So it really wasn't until marked growth and a conversation with my wife that I was like, all right, we can kind of take the next step.
Completely zoned out. Oh my gosh. Can you tell that I'm not up there today? I'm just like, whoa! I agree with what these guys said. Your audio is so important. You know, you can get the equipment for streaming. For example, you know, I streamed sitting on my bed. That sounds really weird. Sitting my first like 2 months of streaming were from my bedroom. I only bought myself my first desk like 3 months ago. I was on like chest of drawers which had like clothes and stuff in, and I wouldn't say there's a time. There's like, right, you've been doing this for this time, or you've got this many viewers, you should, whoa, let's buy all this thing, let's get a computer. And you know, console streaming, it works. You know, you know, if you want a face cam, there's things that you can get to have that. And I don't know what it's like on Xbox, but I know on PlayStation, even if you had a green screen, you can chroma key and you can do all these things. You can't on Xbox. Well, thank you for educating me. I don't know anything. My Xbox is like a doorstop. It's great. Yeah, there's no set time. Just
No
if
console wars, Megany.
I will throw down. I will fight you all over the place. Yeah, there's no right time. Just if you have the money and you think, you know what, I think it's time to upgrade it. Never put yourself out of pocket or anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the money and you want to go for it, go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say I didn't even think about it until I think I got to like 5,000 followers and I saw a certain viewer count. I talked to my wife. That support system is very important as well. I talked to my wife. I'm like, maybe something I could do, and I got a lot of people that came up to me saying like, it's time to get off the console. It's time for you to get up there. And I was like, I'm doing well. I'm doing okay. But yeah, I started seeing more and more growth, and I guess it's time to take it to the next level. So I agree with a lot of these guys, and this is why I love this team, man. You know, we all have different points of view on different types of things. Let's get to a question. Our lovely audience member has a question for us. Yes.
I spent a lot of time in all of your chats, respectively. I have two questions actually. The first part: at what point, after associating with Bob William, did you realize you had messed up?
Almost immediately, sir. Almost immediately.
I had to. You and me outside, baby. In all seriousness, what advice, aside from the normal be yourself, stick to a schedule, so on, would you give to someone who is wanting to be very serious about streaming and possibly making a career? Every time you ask that question, you hear, be yourself, make a schedule, play a game you like. Aside from that, what advice would you guys give?
Those are like the generic answers, yes.
Don't be afraid to make a mistake.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to mess up. I mess up every single day. Every damn day I mess up.
Oh yeah, we all mess up.
So don't be afraid to make a mistake. You learn from it regardless. Sometimes you take a chance and it works out really well. Sometimes you take a chance and it backfires on you. But if you don't, you got to push yourself. You know, you have to push yourself. So that's a non-generic answer, right?
Shave your beard, grow a mustache.
GOP Mario.
Perfectly, it's great.
I think the one thing that I would say, and I mean, I'm sure all of us have fallen victim to this. I know I have, even to a somewhat recent point. Do not compare yourself to anybody, ever. It is so hard not to. Like I just said, recently I've been doing it. It's so hard not to, but it's so important because everyone goes at their own. I mean, I'm the only unpartnered one up here, and I can still attest to that because like. Even when you're growing from 0 viewers to 10 to 20, whatever, like it's so hard to be like, man, I feel like I'm more entertaining than that guy or that girl, but you're getting more viewers. Like, why? Like, you start to drive yourself crazy and like hate yourself and find reasons to be like, what am I doing wrong here? And so
a lot of times it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like viewers go to channels that they want to go to. It's never like you're messing up. You just have to wait to find the viewers that like you for who you are. So not compare yourself to anybody, I would say, is probably one of the most important things you can do.
As far as the business side of it, because that's what you were asking, I mean, there's the business side and the community side. The business side is super difficult. We're all still growing and learning, and we always will, but we're still fairly new at that side of it. But my situation was a little different because I've always worked from home, so it was kind of like the balancing scale kind of started doing this right. I was doing other work for support and then also streaming, and then it started doing that, and I very little do that. It's mostly streaming. But the business side is so crazy because you can't do it until you can do it. Like, you don't want to, like, oh, that was a really good month. I should just quit everything. Yeah. You got to have consistency over a certain amount of time, whatever that is for you individually, or for your family, what you can do to support yourself, all that kind of stuff. And it's you being an adult, it's budgeting, all that stuff, and making sure that if you make that decision, that cutoff, that you're not going to be fighting for stuff, rent, food, clothes, all that stuff. Because then you're relying on streaming, and it starts to come out in your personality. You start to change and your reason for streaming starts to change, and you're like really stressed about money, and then you're putting it on your viewers, and they start to feel it. And you never want your community to feel like they're obligated to support you, because then they're going to be like, I don't really want to go on that chat because I feel like if I'm there, I'm going to have to like
drop in.
Yeah, or
I might have to sub.
Like, yeah, so like that. You never want your viewers to feel guilty about, in my opinion, anything. You want them to feel comfortable, and I think that kind of coincides with the business side for sure.
So I was sat thinking, and I was like, well,
I mean, can we get Leah up here and replace him with Megan? All
right, bye.
All right.
I was sat thinking, you know, the guys have said very like all points that I would say, but then I sit and I'm like, I don't know what else there is. I just was myself. I'm some idiot on the internet that is an idiot in person, and you know, wow.
Grow thick skin, because the trolls are out there. Grow the thick skin, man, because they're out there, and don't let it bother you. If you know, they say if you're getting trolls, you're doing it right, but I don't get trolls, so I don't know if I'm doing it right. But I mean, this guy, anyway. But
you hired a troll, but he works in your channel.
Here's something that I can say, and now a lot of you have your affiliate buttons, a lot of you are getting subs. Don't grow resentment to a viewer that didn't sub to you, but they're sub to someone else. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that are sub to Megany that come to my channel, but they're not sub to me. There's reasons why they're sub to her and not me, and vice versa for her as well. All of us. You know, people have their reasons. The bottom line is you just want them there. You want them there in your chat. It doesn't matter if they drop bits, if they've subbed, if they've donated, whatever. So, you know, that's something I can tell. Now you guys with your affiliate buttons, maybe some of you here with new partner buttons, that'll drive you nuts if you do that. Like, oh man, that guy visits my chat every day. He's subbed to Aura. Why isn't he subbed to me? You know, you do that plus 100, it's going to drive you crazy.
You're devaluing the people who are.
Yeah.
And you're devaluing the relationship that you have with that person who might not be. And
there's reasons.
And one thing I would say too, kind of like in terms of like the network or like a team or close knit group of friends, like don't be afraid to ask them, like, hey, like, you know, you guys have hung on my channel, unless you're Megan and you don't hang on my channel.
I like to sleep, you know.
You're supposed to support me.
I'm sorry,
But don't be afraid to ask them. I mean, we ask each other all the time, like, you know, like, hey, I've been trying this out lately. Like, do you think this works? Do you think I'm like doing well at it, or should I change it up? Like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and ask for criticism, because I mean, we do that to each other basically every day, and we're able to do that without being at each other's throats. So it's like that's another thing that kind of it's like sometimes. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, the soap opera kind of like we said does happen, but then we hug it out. And
soap opera happens.
Yeah.
It's mostly me. I'm like this. I'm a short-tempered Cuban guy that just is mad at everybody.
The mustache is driven him crazy.
The mustache. All right, guys, we have 9 minutes. Thank you, damn it. Thank you very much. Or 8 minutes now. Let's try to breeze through these questions.
Like one person each or something.
Yeah. So please, thank you.
All right, when you're looking for people to act like, when you want to build your own stream team, how important is it that you have a similar audience of people you want to include on your team?
I mean, 100%. That's the most important.
That's how we formed.
That's how we formed it.
That's 100% how we did what we did.
Yeah.
I think it's more important that the people that you're forming a stream team have the similar values to you.
Same size too.
You want people that want to work with you and don't just want to put the stream team name under their, you know, there's people out there just want to collect stream teams. I just want to be in the pizza party. I just want to be in the network. I just want to be the Sherman Squad. I just want to be in the outpost. You know what I mean? I just want to be in all these streams. I just want to be able to every day change the tag. You know, like there's people out there that do that. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to form a tighter team that can help each other, you got to make sure those people have the same. They want to do the same thing you want. They want the same thing you want, and they're willing to help.
Don't expand larger than you can support.
Yeah.
If the network was 50 people, we'd be able to talk to each other, but there's no way that we would actually be able to exist the way that we exist.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that we can actually, the fact that we're a very intimate team really helps.
And thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Sir. Hello.
How do you like to feel about?
We need you closer to the microphone. Right in there. You're right in there.
the microphone.
Like this?
Yes.
That's good.
How do you feel about Twitch, like back to that Twitch right now with affiliates on? I mean, there's some links and all that is.
How do you feel about Twitch and the affiliate stuff?
I love it.
I love it too.
I mean, what's not to love about it?
I can sub to Vibronium now.
Yeah, fine.
Save it for these guys and gals, please. As someone who, out of all of us, is the only non-partner person, I thought it was interesting. I think there's good things and bad things about it for sure, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think having a sub button's cool, but I think it could be very easy. We've talked about this all the time. It could be very easy to start thinking, oh, I'm making money doing this now, and that can kind of drive you crazy. So it's like,
or I don't have enough money to spend on this now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So like, I think it can be good and bad. I think mostly, for the most part, it's good. But nothing's perfect, right? So I think there's some drawbacks to it. But I think overall it's good.
I think we'll really start to see most of it in the next few months, and how people start to feel and things start to settle in a little bit, because the hype is crazy, and it's the same for partners, right? The first month or so is just hype, and then as you start to get comfortable, it's going to be interesting to see how everybody responds to it.
On that note, there's the one thing I'm actually almost sad about is you remember the first day your sub button goes live is probably my button went live. I was in the bath. I was like, great, I've got to get out of the bath. I just want to go live. It was like nearly midnight. It was the most insane 2 hours that I have ever done, and I'm almost sad. I've not been able to see any of the sub buttons go live because I've been here, but I'm almost kind of sad that there's potential that some affiliates won't get that feeling of, oh my gosh, this is it.
You get 5 minutes from the email.
Yeah.
There's no warning after.
It's just like, surprise, I'm here now.
I went to work.
If you missed the email,
and I went to work.
Yeah.
Hi guys. So my question to you is, this is market share probably all English speakers primarily.
Yes.
But for someone that wants to be a bilingual variety streamer, how would you recommend someone to work that? Because I speak Spanish and English.
I can answer that question, sir. Go for it. I mean, you have no idea how many Hispanic people have come up to me, Latin people have come up to me, and they're like, wow, it's so great to see, to see a Hispanic streamer, Latin streamer. I mean, there's Dayshot here as well, he's a partner. He's right there. It's great. There's not many of us, and I think it's untapped. My wife keeps telling me I should do it. I speak Spanish, but I need to practice it. And I think it's important, man. You take any advantage you have, take it. You know what I mean? You speak German, French, anything, Creole, do it. You'll be first Creole partner. Who knows? So anything you do it. But I get approached. I get in my chat a lot, like, oh man, you're Cuban, awesome. I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Dominican, I'm Mexican. It's awesome, to see. And there's been so many, of us getting partnered recently as well. So any advantage, man. If your Spanish is fluid, do it, man. Do it. They love video games in Latin America too, man.
Being unique is one of the most important things on Twitch, in my opinion. So anything that can set you apart from somebody else.
That's a market that there's not a lot.
I know.
And if I'm you, I would pursue that path because there's viewership there. I have a lot of friends who speak Spanish. They speak enough English to communicate with me, but that's a market that, like we talked about Borderlands, like that. They're looking for quality broadcasters.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, man. Gracias.
Just to type Mark, just hit the floor.
Just a quick question for Banks. I love your bot. Could you explain what that is?
What?
Your bot?
My bot?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Bot. I
It's
love
my
your bot.
dog.
I know, but what bot is that?
Oh, it's Florabot. There we go. I was like, wait, that's my. I named my bot after my dog. Okay, like I'm not original.
After your what?
Dog.
Dog. Oh yeah.
Dog? How interesting. How strange.
Who would ever?
We don't know anything about that here.
All right, guys, we got 2 minutes. I want to get one more thing, guys. Thank you for all the questions on Twitter. I'm sorry I'm going to get all the questions on Twitter. I saw a line forming, so I wanted to get into the line there. One more thing, one more question I got asking all of you guys, and of course, we know there's a Q&A about the network. We've got some other stuff, but the network. Benefits. What benefits have you guys seen being on the network? And we're going to start with Megany. so she doesn't space out. Megan E.
Jet lag, man, jet lag.
It's been 4 days.
I'm going to put you on a plane to England and see how you like it. I said it before, I have brothers now. I have people that I know, no matter what my issue is, whether it's business, personal, I can go to them and they can be like, they can either be like, here, give me a hug, or like, Meg, you're being stupid. Which is just 9 times out of 10, they're like, Megan, what are you doing? Why are you here? As I'm drunkenly smashing on a keyboard. But I have people in my industry and the same job as me that I can communicate with. There you go. Hey.
Yay.
I made it.
Yeah, the support, definitely. I kind of touched on it earlier, but that coworker vibe, to be able to support each other in our lives. Like, they've watched my son grow up to be like a year-old. We share pictures of our kids and like our lives and things we're going through. So like, it's pretty awesome to have other people on Twitch that we can connect to in that way.
I think one specific thing for me is that I think there's some things that are best kept private, and I think we're able to have conversations that maybe shouldn't be on Twitter or in like a Discord text chat or something. I mean, ours is a Discord text chat, but like public Discord text, you know what I mean? So like, I think there's some things that are really important that need to be discussed and kind of like bounce off each other, but also shouldn't be told to the world. So, and because we're all so close and friendly and honest with each other, we're able to have actual conversations and can tell each other, no, that's really dumb.
We don't talk shit about each other. We do it right in front of our face.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell Jason Iverson what I feel.
yeah, exactly. So I think specifically that's one thing I would say is really important. Because sometimes we see tweets and we're like, oh, I don't know if you should have said that on Twitter, man. I was like, pretty bad. So, but we're able to have those conversations and we don't have to like worry about it. So I think it's really important.
I've never had to walk this Twitch journey alone. Not once did I ever feel like I was by myself and no one knew what I was going through, because I was the last one to kind of grow from the group. So they all went through, what I was going through already, and they were able to guide me. And not feeling alone is really, really important, especially because we can try as hard as we want to make everybody feel included in anything that we do. But at some point, we're going to miscommunicate, we're going to make a mistake, and somebody's going to feel left out. And I've never once felt like I was I can't tell you how important it is to have somebody by your side your entire journey. I've had these amazing people, Vibronium who came in included, by my side for all of this from the very beginning. Like, the network's been around for a minute. Like, we've been around since like February or March.
I mean, all of us were partnered when we started.
So that's an awful lot of knowledge, support, friendship, and love that is really, really helpful in something like this. I can't express that enough.
And a lot of you guys understand when you have bad days and you tweet it out, oh, shut up, Streamo, you play video games. What, how bad is that?
Literally, word for word.
Word for word. Shut up, Streamo, you play video games. And, we never say that to each other here. Guys, thank you so much for being here. That is our time. We've got 2 minutes over. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm sorry that the tickets were sold out for the jam and you had to come here. Thank you. Thank you guys very much.